Dumela. Okay. Ah, are you right? I'm so glad I am. How are you? Are you right? No, no, no. Umix sa race ka ofela Alex. All the race. Rosh. Mix alle race ka ofela ka. Oh, race. Ma. Please. Ke ha. Ah, that is.
Yeah, no, it's fine. This one is mine. Okay. Um, okay. Yeah. Is this one mine? No, no, no. I'm fine standing. Colleagues, if we can sit, let's please sit and make it comfortable. Thank you. All right, let's start. Colleagues, good morning and thank you very much for attending the briefing. My name is Elijah Mhlanga, Office of the Premier, Gauteng. I'm not going to waste any more time, but hand over to the Premier to take us through the media briefing. Premier, over to you.
Thank you so much, Elijah. I thought but I think we can do that later. It's okay. It's pressure on the Should I use it? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of the acting HOD of the Department of Community Safety, Mr. Rosh Mukhorosi, and the entire team that represent various components of the force that will make announcement later on in the statement. I would like to welcome you to this media briefing, responding to the operational repositioning of the traffic wardens. This will assist clarifying the lingering misunderstanding regarding their legitimacy and giving an update on their current training pathway to prepare them for their full integration into the province law enforcement framework. The introduction of the traffic wardens in our province have assisted us in fighting crime in various aspects. In particular, visible policing in the CBDs. Their presence has also assisted us in sporting events, notably big events including concerts, as well as in tracing and tracking those that are selling drugs in our communities, and also retrieving stolen vehicles and ammunition that has been in some of the operations that they have executed. We are doing this understanding that the Gauteng province is the engine of the South African economy and the continent's regional economy as well. And that crime has been a major threat in ensuring that we protect not only our citizens, those that are coming to our province for purpose of terrorism or investment. This unit has also assisted us in ensuring that related townships, informal settlements and hostels are protected as they became the epicenters for this sophisticated crime in our province. These complex criminal networks terrorizes our communities and systematically exhaust the already scarce resources of our law enforcement agencies. This situation has sometimes led to dangerous proliferation of vigilante groups in our communities, which exacerbate the cycle of violence and undermines the rule of law. It has also been worsened by a critical police-to-citizen ratio of 1 policeman for every 358 residents, which is far below the United Nations recommended standard of 1 police officer for every 250 residents, leading to poor visibility and slow response time in high crime areas. Confronted by this reality, the Gauteng Provincial Government has moved beyond simply funding this strained system to actively building a resilient, multi-layered support network that is rooted in proven net framework for cooperative governance. Based on a comprehensive strategy, the integrated crime and violence prevention strategy, the Gauteng approach to safety moved beyond just policing. It proactively tackled the root causes of crime through partnerships between government departments, law enforcement agencies, and our communities. This model focuses on prevention, social programs, and community involvement to sustainably reduce crime and improve resident lives. This provincial approach is consistent with South Africa's post-1994 policing philosophy, which transformed the service into a community-oriented function that prioritized partnerships. Our approach is explicitly supported by the strategies, including the National Crime Prevention Strategy of 1996, the Integrated Social Crime Prevention Strategy of 2021, the National Development Plan 2030, and the draft white paper on safety and security 2016, all of which champion an integrated, multi-stakeholder approach to safety. In the past years, this philosophy has been implemented through the significant tangible support that the Gauteng Provincial Government gave to the South African Police as part of our response and resourcing of the SAPS to execute their responsibilities. In this regard, the government that I had the honor to lead donated 3 helicopters to the SAPS and 700 new motor vehicles so that the South African police force can be strengthened. We also went beyond that and connected 12,000 new CCTV cameras across all our communities in urban areas, townships, informal settlements, and hostels, a first in terms of crime prevention in our communities. And the cameras have assisted us in providing the necessary evidence needed by law enforcement agencies to crack critical cases. On top of that, we made available 5 mobile incident command centers so that they can coordinate and respond to crime as it is reported by our citizens. We also introduced e-policing drones that are assigned to very difficult areas that need policing, especially areas like Zamazamas, that is illegal mining, or informal settlement where normal vehicles can't go through. We've done everything within our powers to move the province towards a cashless transaction, to minimize cash heists, business robberies, and ATM bombings by encouraging various business sectors to migrate to cashless business. In this regard, all our major hospitality institutions are now cashless. We've just finalized an agreement with the taxi industry that will also migrate to a cashless environment. We are of the strong view, if you minimize cash, you minimize cash heist, you minimize business robberies, you minimize ATM bombs. We are at the final tail of introducing a tamper-proof number plates, as vehicles are at the center of violent crimes, hijackings, and rampage formal agreement for cross-border law enforcement cooperation between ourselves, the SAPS, and all our municipalities have been finalized, bringing us to be the first province where each and every municipality can assist and reinforce another municipality in case of serious violent crimes. So the introduction of the Gauteng traffic wardens was the cornerstone of this collaboration strategy. This initiative was designed to strengthen support for the police so that we can free them to focus on serious crimes while the wardens enhance visible policing and build the positive daily interactions with our communities. The rollout of the traffic wardens has followed a meticulous, legally compliant sequence to ensure professionalism and accountability. The Gauteng Provincial government can create these traffic roads because the Constitution and the National Traffic Act 93 of 1996 give the provinces the powers to do so. To grant this traffic wardens legal authority, the provincial government invoked Section 334 of the Criminal Procedure Act, and this section authorizes the Minister of Justice to designate specific officials as peace officers. The province requested the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services to appoint the crime prevention wardens as peace officers in line with this act. The Minister then established an interministerial committee to examine the legislative framework. This committee consisted of myself and the former MEC of Community Safety, Faith Mazibuko, the then Minister of Justice, Ronald Lamola, as well as the then Minister of Police, David. The committee determined that for the wardens to obtain peace officers' powers, the province must follow the existing route used for provincial traffic appointments, as it already had legislative power to do so. Notably, the wardens are trained in line with the National Road Traffic Act and not the South African Police Act. The designation was formally pronounced in December 2023. This legal classification gave the wardens the same legal standing as Gauteng traffic officers, pending the completion of their training. As a support unit, the Gauteng traffic wardens are designed to strengthen the efforts of existing law enforcement authorities. They are peace officers with specific authority under the CPA Act and were never meant to replace the National Police Service. Should I use that? As a support unit, the Gauteng wardens are designed to strengthen the efforts of existing law enforcement authorities. They are peace officers with specific authority under the CPA and were never meant to replace the National Police Service. Instead, they assist law enforcement in preventing crime and enforcing laws. The program is legal because it uses provincial wardens to assist national police, thereby strengthening enforcement without overstepping their constitutional authority. Even prior to their legal designation, candidates wardens proactively began training with various law enforcement agencies, including the Gauteng Traffic Police, the Metro Police Department, and the South African National Defence Force. To date, the effort has resulted in significant upskilling of these wardens. To enhance professionalism and service delivery, approximately 8,800 traffic wardens from the 5 corridors have completed a multifaceted training program covering critical areas such as criminal law, evidence law, personnel ethics, the prevention of brutality, firearm training, and the service of protection orders. Following their peace officer designation, which gave traffic wardens the same legal standing as Gauteng traffic officers, it was necessary to now reconfigure their training and develop new procedures to integrate them into the provincial law enforcement framework. In response to this new reconfiguration, during my tabling of the budget of the department on the 31st of July, we made an announcement that the wardens will now migrate to become Gauteng traffic officers. To ensure a smooth and fair transition, the Department of Community Safety has been reviewing and conducting assessments to determine who amongst the wardens meets this criterion needed for the traffic officer training program. The department has also been fielding numerous requests from various government entities interested in absorbing some of the wardens in their organization. Arrangements are already underway to place some of the wardens within the entities such as the border management agencies and several municipalities. We are indeed excited with a partnership with the border management agencies that have taken almost 100 of these wardens to be trained in terms of managing the entry points in our country as part of the preparation for the G20 and beyond. We are determined to ensure that no one will be left behind as we move forward with this crucial process. Since then, the Department of Community Safety has partnered with 13 traffic colleges to offer the NQF Level 4 Traffic Officer course, and a subsequent capacity assessment has been determined by the Road Traffic Management Corporation, RTMC, which will now train some of the traffic wardens in phases so that they can be capacitated to respond to the new mandate that will assign to them. And this is subject to SASITA system registration process. This marks the final stage of their current training pathway, ensuring that they become a fully integrated, professional, and legally compliant component of the province crime-fighting arsenal. In summary, what does this mean? It means the following: that the wardens will cease to exist in their current format. This will be done in a phased approach. They will now be repurposed to be part of the Gauteng Traffic Police and Special Law Enforcement Unit SLEU and other strategic security partners that will work with them. To do so, they are now taken back to training to enter into an extensive and intensive training for the next 18 to 36 months so that they can qualify to be part of the Gauteng Traffic Police. Those who can qualify for this training will be assigned to various municipalities for bylaw enforcement or the provision of security services in various government departments after acquiring the necessary training. We do so because we really believe that what they are doing has demonstrated that is needed in our communities. We just have to eliminate areas of deep concern, which is their training, their mandate, and their qualification. After going through this process now, we really believe we would have eliminated these concerns, and there will now be a fully fleshed unit that will assist us to fight crime in our province. As a Gauteng government, we want to focus on tackling crime rather than spending time squabbling about the mandate and legitimacy or getting caught within the factional battles of law enforcement agencies in our country. The recent crime stats of Gauteng are an affirmation that our collective efforts to fight crime are turning the tide against crime, with a 7.9 crime reduction in the last quarter statistics and a 25% reduction in road fatalities during the last festive season. This is the area we want to invest our resources and our time, rather than argue on the mandate of the law enforcement agencies. With this new reconfigured approach, with this new training regime, With this new legal mandate, we are of the view that we have now closed this debate. We will now have a new force that will supplement the law enforcement agencies with the necessary legitimacy, the necessary training, and the necessary support from all law enforcement agencies. We now call upon law enforcement agencies to focus on the task at hand and avoid the squabbling and the differences that we had. We will continue to engage with the National Minister of Police, the Minister of Justice, and all other relevant agencies, the NPA, and institutions that will assist us to reaffirm this new stand that we are taking as the provincial government. We'll also release resources for training and also the capacitation of the new mandate that will be given to our crime officers. We held a meeting with these officers on the 20th of June 2024 to outline this new role that they need to take. We are quite convinced with this new role, crime prevention will become a reality in our province. So the escalating threat facing our province from criminal elements demands a decisive break from outdated methodologies. The challenges before us are too complex for any single agency to think that they can resolve crime alone. The recent regrettable public discord between the SAPS and JMPD in Pegasdal underscored the critical need for a formalized cooperation agreement, which is designed specifically to eliminate such operational friction by fostering seamless collaboration, clear communication channels, and a united command structure between the Gauteng Provincial Government, the SAPS, and municipal police to ensure effective, cohesive law enforcement service delivery for all our residents. We call on all law enforcement agencies to unite in the face of a united and well-coordinated criminals. The Gauteng Provincial Government reaffirms its commitment to this professional, accountable, and integrated approach to fight crime in our province. We are championing a fundamental shift from isolated enforcement to integrated safety and the methodical rollout of the Gauteng traffic wardens will ensure that they work with partnership of all security structures in our country. Sustaining the downward trend in crime is a central goal for the Gauteng Provincial Government, with least crime fighting amongst its G13 priorities. To maintain this progress, the province is focusing on using traffic wardens more strategically and improving their capabilities. As I conclude, we just want to make an announcement that in line with integrated crime and violence prevention strategy that pushes for a proactive approach in tackling the root causes of crime through partnership, we are launching a full-scale pushback against the devastating scourge of substance abuse across all 5 provincial corridors on the 27th October 2025. We are mobilizing every government resource to wage a campaign against crisis that is stealing generations. We are convinced what is happening in our communities now of gangsterism, children killing each other, it's nothing else but the scourge of crime and drugs in particular. What happened in Westbury yesterday is not only shocking, it's completely unacceptable. That school-going age people can start to shoot at each other and commit this crime. The easy availability of weapons or guns is a demonstration that we need to tackle this matter head-on rather than squabble amongst ourselves and exposing our differences. I've been briefed by the law enforcement agencies in our province that the gangsters that was responsible for this act, they will be apprehended soon. I've given the necessary authorization needed to ensure that we don't have a repeat of this incident. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it.
Colleagues will now take
as well. But also on the issue of MPD, SP seemingly is mentioned the West End. That is or for it team and drug syndicates at that level. Do you still believe that there's still a need for that? Thank you.
Secondly, we have piecemeal arrangements. When in December we were designated to be peace officers, almost 400 of our wardens were given certificates to be peace wardens. And immediately after that, it was stopped, which simply means we have others that are peace wardens, others are not peace ward officers within the same unit. Thirdly, there's been exchange of correspondence from the National Commissioner of Police, the Provincial Commissioner of Police, citing limitations on the work and functions of the traffic wardens. And I convened the team and said, I don't want to operate in this environment because to fight crime, if you lose legitimacy, then there's no impact that will make. If we feel the unit is either under-resourced, is under-trained, is not recognized, it really places us in the hands of criminals. So we have a provincial unit as a province. That's what we see the main unit. This is our unit that is legitimate, that has constitutional mandate. Why migrate the wardens in left the force in the last 3 years in terms of either sickness or getting promotion or being absorbed by other security companies or resigning or through death, So it's a force that we really believe is important and can take us forward. We are of the view that we need new creative methods to fight crime in our province. A one-dimensional approach is not going to assist us. And that is why we've made all municipalities to sign an agreement to work with us. And what you are referring to in Western, it's unfortunate. I've raised that with the Provincial Commissioner. I've raised that with the MMC, Johannesburg, that this is unfortunate. We have to alert each other when we have to enter this kind of cooperation. We must not surprise each other, because if you do so, this will lead to what we are having here, the current situation, where a kingpin responsible for some of the criminal activities in the West End can be let free on the basis that law enforcement agencies are not speaking to each other. Well, what is happening to the Madlanga Commission, I really want to urge law enforcement agencies not to be absorbed by that and focus at the task at hand. My big worry is that we might find ourselves defending each other there rather than executing the mandate. And I rise in salutation of the witnesses, especially Witness A and Witness B that is coming today, of the commitment that they've demonstrated. I've been taken in confidence as the person responsible for law enforcement in the force. All those people have come to brief me specifically on the role and the support that they need, and we have committed to provide the support and the guidance that is needed. But it's people like Witness A and Witness B that we should be proud that are still within the law enforcement agencies. But we are calling on the senior leaders of the police in particular to focus on the task to fight crime or find themselves trying to defend themselves in this commission. Well, we are proud that our anti-crime unit, organized crime unit, was at the center of the arrest and was also at the center of retrieving the drugs that are now a part of the Madlanga Commission. And we want that unit to be protected and to be supported and to be resourced. And we really believe the new approach that we are taking now as a province will assist us to strengthen this fight against crime. But we remain proud with the police that are continuing their work, obviously worried with some of the names that are thrown about the justice system and the role that has been played by judges and magistrates, and deeply worried that some of the seniors within the law enforcement agencies are compromised. But we don't want to do commentary during this commission. We'll await the final report, and on the basis of that, we'll be in a position to act or recommend action that need to be taken to those that have the powers to take those actions. Thanks, Isniko.
Premier, the House, morning to you. Mtunzi, it's my name, from Welela News. Premier, you partly covered me, but just wanted to check with you, as you resources to fight crime in your province. We know that your province has been named time to time in different platforms, whether it's Madlanga or EDCO Committee, and senior police or senior structures of the SAPS. They've confirmed us that there's a crisis within the security cluster. As a province, as a premier, how will you now going forward to make sure that it doesn't exist in your province? Because it is very clear, because you can hear from different top cops, they are talking, passing each other, then it's that there is a problem in the province. The other one that you spoke to, Western Pakistan, what transpired, there's probably maybe misunderstanding between the SAPS and the metropolis, to your understanding. And the MMC Chwaku, even yesterday, he said, if there's no intervention from yourself, also Koloma, what does that mean? And then the issue of Westbury that you just touched. Westbury is not starting yesterday. it's been happening. So what will be the intervention to that area of Westbury? Because before they used to put in the soldiers, or then they'll withdraw them, then we'll continue. So how is going to be, because we just spoke to it,
Mthunzi, I'm of the strong view that what is happening within the law agency currently is unfortunate. The information that is coming out of the Madlanga Commission as well as the ad hoc committee in Cape Town, it's unfortunate. It's not exposing us only to the reality of factional battles within those that are assigned the task to defend us, but it also exposes the country to serious intelligence gaps. And it's something that I want to thank the President for agreeing to appoint that commission. It's just unfortunate that when he appointed the commission, he was highly criticized. But those that have criticized him are nowhere to be found now. They are the ones that are enjoying the developments within them. So I really believe that was a stroke of genius by the President to establish the commission, because he had information that he knew that it would be better to take the country in confidence and provide a platform where these issues can be ventilated. And we really believe that it has achieved that particular goal. But I'm of the strong view that we might be indirect, and I'm using the word indirect deliberately, victims of our commitment to fight crime in our province. The government that I have the honor to lead identified crime as a serious area that need our intervention. And that is why even that portfolio was migrated to my office, to give it the necessary authority and support. We give the law enforcement agency 700 new cars. And I don't get a national commissioner that says, Premier, thank you. We took over here, the law enforcement agencies in this province, they didn't have a helicopter. We didn't give them one, we didn't give them two, we gave them 3 helicopters. I don't get a national commissioner that comes to me and say, Premier, thank you so much. But when we have foot soldiers that are assisting law enforcement agencies, I get letters from the National Commissioner or Provincial Commissioner to say, pull out these people. So it's a cherry-picking institution. You cherry the sweetness, the bitterness, you distance yourself. So we don't want to find ourselves in that quagmire. That is why we are pulling the resource, and we have no responsibility to provide the resources that we are. But understanding that this is the economic hub of the country, we felt obliged to render these services. When I took over, the Department of Community Safety budget was 800 million. We are now hovering over 2.8 billion rands. We are putting CCTV cameras in all over the highways. We are putting CCTV cameras in the townships. We are putting CCTV cameras in hostels, in informal settlement. Something that was not done. And the law enforcement agencies don't even have the courtesy to say, we see you, Gauteng, we support you, Gauteng. We have reduced crime with 37.9, according to their own statistics, purely because of this integrated support that we are providing to law enforcement agencies. So if you allow this issue of wardens to be a sore point that harm the relationship, we swallowed our pride, we are pulling them out. So that the focus is not about our differences, is what brings us together. And retrain them to be an additional resource to push back crime. I have to go to the public protector, explain why do you have wardens. I have to go to Parliament on parliamentary questions. Why do you have wardens? I have to go to hospital to check wardens that are shot at because they are not protected, because people don't want to protect them. So we don't want, therefore, the focus to be there. That is why we are pulling them today, taking them back to training, repurpose them, reconfigure them, and bring them back to push back crime. And we really believe we are going to continue. So we are not pulling the helicopters out. We are not pulling the 700 new cars that we bought for the police out. We are continuing with the support that we are providing. And we really believe that we are indirect victims of the differences that are there within the corridors of the law enforcement agencies. And we don't want to spend time arguing there. We want to spend time fighting crime. And I'm proud about this team. Every time that the SAPS need a helicopter, this team goes there and assists the SAPS. I can quote the number of heists that if it was not this team, would have not even stopped those heists. But we are doing this not to please any individual. We are doing this to protect the citizens of our province and the prospect of our province to be the economic hub of our country. We are hosting the G20. We don't want to spend time swapping. We want to spend time preparing for this unit. So as far as the difference between the provincial commissioner and the I've resolved it personally. And I told them there must be a seizure of hostilities and attend to the issue at hand. So, Gutuzo Koloma. That is why I'm announcing the program on the 27th of October to assist victims of crime. But I've issued a strict instruction to the provincial commission. On the 25th of October, if there are still drug cartels, if there are still drug syndicates in our province, the provincial commissioner must explain. I've given him until the 25th of October to go for those drug cartels. We've got intelligence report, we've got information. I see no reason why they're still existing in our province when we have that kind of information. So I've given them a strict instruction. By the 25th of October, all those drug cartels and people that are selling drugs in our province committed to give on the basis of, and we really believe it's drugs that necessitated the better that we have in this area. And fortunately, the team is briefing me, and I will be in a position also to attend to the crime scene and also interact with those that have information that they want to bring to our attention. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Brenda. Let's continue to take the questions. You can speak with me.
Now, Premier, one of the things that Mkwanazi has said is that the initiative was good in this, considering the fact that there is high youth unemployment. Now, if this program is being phased out and some of them are going to be absorbed elsewhere, will they continue to receive the stipends that they've been receiving as they go into a training program to become traffic police officers? And are you able to at least give us, I'm sure you can, but can you please just remind us as to how many people have been employed through this program and how many will be sent to the various departments, including the different municipalities and their roles, and as well as the border management authorities? What I'm trying to understand is if any of these young South Africans will be left in the cold after this process has been reconfigured.
The answer is no, man. I will never allow them to be retrenched or to be unemployed. Actually, they put their lives on the line to protect me and you. And I think majority of you have seen them in sporting events. And in this province, we could not even organize a sporting or entertainment event. Either your car lights will be broken into, your phone will be marked and other things. Since their arrival, we have minimum of those incidents. Actually, I had one heartwarming email from one person that was organizing a rugby tournament at Loftus. He said, my worry is not the tournament. My worry is the complaints that come after the tournament. But the deployment of these wardens have minimized, if not eroded, the complaint. They are the first to arrive, and the last to go in some of these events. And they've really played a meaningful. So it will be reckless for us to remove them. And that is why I'm saying we don't want to find ourselves squabbling when crime is continuing. We'll swallow our pride and retrain them, because South Africans have also complained about their training capabilities. We'll swallow our pride and reinforce them with the necessary skills that are needed. So we're not withdrawing them completely out. That's something we'll do in phases. There's no one who can train 8,800 people at once. So we'll start with the first 1,000 Kapla that the team is working on, and then we'll then bring others. We are also checking other training institutions that are available that can offer this kind of training, so that we have. So they are still intact. They still continue to get their stipend. They're still going to be supported. They're still going to be seen in various activities until the reconfiguration process has been concluded. The municipality, for example, Johannesburg, the mayor wrote to me, is requesting 400 of them to be trained for bylaw enforcement. I've already given the go-ahead to the HOD to transfer 400 to. If you see what the mayor is doing in Johannesburg now, you'll see some of them assisting already in bylaw enforcement, because people just build nowhere. They build everywhere and find themselves not being attended by law enforcement agencies. So this deployment of close to 400 to Johannesburg will assist, and this will be those that can't qualify for this bigger training that you are talking about. I mean, the border management is exciting. Go to the airport now, you'll see the wardens there, stamping or being trained to stamp your passport as you enter. This is the appreciation of other units. As I said, I'm making these resources for the SAPS, but I've never received a single call from the SAPS to say thank you for what you are doing for us. But here is a unit, the other unit saying, bring almost 8 to 100. Yeah. Bring, we'll train them so we see the value. We still continue to pay for their resource, for their stipend, but they're deployed by another unit. The MEC for Health in the province said there are cars that are stolen outside Charlotte Macrae. Please give me 200 of these wagons. We've deployed, the cars are no longer stolen out of Charlotte Macrae. And I can indicate many incidences, how trained in many areas where these young people are there committed and assisting us to do this thing. So the reason we're taking this action is to avoid squabbles and concentrate at the task at hand. And there's no single individual can claim that they've not seen the role played by this unit, unless they're wearing factional lenses. So we don't want to lose them. And we're going to continue to recapacitate them, retrain them, and bring them to this unit that you are seeing wearing the uniform, so that they become a new force that can assist us to fight crime in our province. In total, currently, there are 8,800, roughly 9,000 of them, and we recruited them in phases. As I've indicated, close to 330 of them have either resigned or absorbed by other law enforcement agencies, or they died. So we've taken a decision, we're not going to replace those for now until we finalize this process. The mayor of Ekurhuleni as well approached, is requesting assistance with a certain number of wardens for bylaw enforcement as well. We will also make them available to him as well. So we'll continue to do the work. It's just that I don't want to spend time in boardrooms with the public protector and boardrooms about legitimacy with other ministers, in boardrooms, in courts, or in other things. I want to focus on the task of fighting crime in this province. And we say our integrated approach, there is evidence, 7.9% of crime in Gauteng have gone down in the last crime stats that were released. When it was continuing to go up every quarter, we've turned the corner now with 7.9. We want to sustain it or take it down further. And we can't therefore be distracted by what is said in Madanga Commission or what is said in the ad hoc committee and demoralize these young people that are doing this wonderful work. So we are committed to reconfigure, repurpose them, capacitate them so that they can continue in a new way fight crime in our province.
Thank you so much, Premier. There's also a request from the Concord to deploy the wardens.
Yes, we got the request from the Concord, and there is a new 50 million upgrade of the Johannesburg High Court that the Minister of Infrastructure and the Minister of Justice, they've requested that we now reposition permanent wardens around the court precincts as well, which is something that we appreciate.
Thank you, Premier. I think Baile has a follow-up.
Just my last question. What happens to the resources? I mean, you mentioned that 700 vehicles have been purchased. They must have been purchased at a very high price. What then happens? Do they get rebranded or do they continue using them?
No, the 750 is the one that we bought and donated to SAPS. No province have done that, but only province. So they only have 250 cars that they are utilizing currently, but they smashed them. So I'm not sure how many are remaining. They indeed smashed them. I meet them every Tuesday. Every Tuesday I get a report. They knock down this tree, they knock down so maybe this training that they're going, it should also assist in that they might say that with driving. So that's another area that we need to do. But the 700 is the cars that we have donated to the SAPS in the last 3 financial year or so. It's not once off. It's last year I know it was 250 cars that we gave to the police. This is the kind of support that we're providing. I was with the Premier of Mpumalanga. He's also establishing his own, I'm not sure if Mpumalanga don't call them Mandla. I advised him to say, we are going to repurpose and wait until we take. So it means other provinces are appreciating. I mean, other 3 MEC premiers have asked how they can also come in, but I advised Zamani Sol in Northern Cape not to try, because just imagine being called Zamazamas in that area. But we are committed to continue with this and give support.
Thank you, Premier. Let's go to Baile.
Okay, good morning. Premier, Otelile from PSCA. So, Premier, yesterday I saw on the news in the provincial legislation, Solemsia Manga.
Thank you. Good morning. So, yesterday I saw on the news where there was a conversion at the provincial legislature. So Solemsia Manga had his say about the Amabanyaza. So what do you say to his assertion that you lie to young people, you led them to their death, and also failing to give them adequate training as promised? And he's also accusing you to say that you are using this program to lobby for your party to get the votes. And my other questions are basically not about today's topic. So it has emerged, Premier, that the HOD, the health HOD, has failed his lifestyle audit. So are you going to remove him? Please, Premier. Are you going to remove him from office following that report? And you recently also said that you are widening the investigation scope into Gauteng hospitals. Are there any other tembises that you've picked up in Gauteng? And today there are people who are protesting outside Tembisa Hospital who say that that is a active crime scene. Do you agree with that?
In terms of training, it's very unfortunate that the leader of the opposition, you train people for what? We trained them on the basis of being peace officers, not on the basis to confront cash eyes or on the basis to exchange fire with criminals. So if he says that we have not given them the capacity training, I wonder, because they were trained by the same traffic colleges that have trained traffic cops that are moving around here. Did he challenge that? Actually, our units are more trained than even some of the security officers that are guarding the buildings. They are more trained, so it's a misrepresentation of it. But we couldn't train them in tactical unit, train them in high intensity, because we're squabbling about their mandate. And that's the reason why we are taking this decision today. So that is why sometimes I don't understand why people will say, no, they're not properly trained, because you train them for something. If that something is not defined, it becomes very difficult to do that. And to say we lied, we say they're not employed permanently. These HODs here, they know, I've instructed them that they must change the organizational structure for them to be employed. I mean, how do you have an organizational structure that you are not going to be employed permanently? So it's another misrepresentation. They remain in training until their role is defined. Today we are defining that role. That will rather take them to proper training that will allow them to be absorbed by the units that we control as the provincial government. So there's nothing that I've misled. But besides, there is an ethics officer in the legislature. So if he feels that I've misled, I think he should then would have tabled that. And he knows he can't table that because there's nothing that wrong that we have said. That's what I'm saying with Tembisa Hospital. If you need another discussion, I can give it to you. Tembisa Hospital is part of a huge investigation that I authorized, requested to the President of the country to proclaim, and further requested SIU to check authorities that are leading the Department of Health. Everyone. It's me who authorized that investigation after I received the report from the previous MEC, from the previous Premier, who had a preliminary investigation. When I went through the report and I saw what I saw, I wrote to the President to proclaim. The President listened, proclaimed, and we now have two reports. There's the third report that is outstanding. And therefore, I will be reluctant to start to enter that debate until that final report came. We even then went to the SIU to say, check all the leadership of the department. And they gave me a preliminary report about the leadership of the department led by the HOD. After I've gone through that report, I established things that I feel that they need to be explained. And hence I took a decision to suspend him. And now the SIU has gone into a further forensic investigation on the HOD. I received legal papers from people from representing the HOD of the department, requesting me in 48 hours to withdraw the suspension of the HOD. I told them to jump to the nearest lake. 48 hours had passed, I've not even seen their papers. We are not going to be distracted. There's a huge fight back on the Tembisa Hospital, massive fight back, from legal institutions, from business people who are lobbying and sending people to try to discourage us to continue with the investigation in that hospital. We are not going to stop. I had a lengthy consultation with the Minister of Health yesterday in Cape Town on the same issues that are affecting Tembisa Hospital and health generally in our province. So we are continuing with all these acts. I've also received a letter from the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Health requesting me to explain the development within that department. I'll go on the 28th to go and explain that process. So there's nothing to hide. We are committed to deal with these issues, and no one will be treated special outside the commitment that we've made. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bernard.
Good afternoon. Sokoba from Eyewitness News. I think maybe my first question would be for Dr. Maisen. Maybe if you can just take us into, maybe just give us a bit of what goes into becoming a Gauteng traffic officer. What is the training going to look like over the next 18 to 36 months for these previously wardens? And then my other questions are for you, Premier. From a budget point of view, I think obviously the wardens or the Gauteng traffic officers will obviously earn a bit more than wardens. I think it's going to be a substantial amount considering that they are now earning stipends. So from a budget point of view, how has the Gauteng budget sort of, maybe even the HOD can answer this, how has your department sort of budgeted for that increase in expenditure when it comes to salaries? And then I was going to ask you this outside, but obviously you've touched on it. I just want to get a bit of clarity. Yesterday, the MEC, Faith Mazibuko, when she answered in the legislature, she said that the lifestyle audit for the HOD was completed in August last year, but you've only suspended him, obviously, this month. There's about a 15-month gap between the completion of the lifestyle audits and the suspension. Can you just maybe give us a bit of clarity that's why gap?
No, there's no gap. I got the lifestyle audit outcome on a Thursday. Not last week Thursday, the other Thursday. I got the lifestyle audit report on a Thursday. I wrote the suspension letter on a Friday. We tried to get the HOD to serve the letter. It was nowhere to be found on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We only traced him on Monday, and I made the announcement on Tuesday. So there's no 15 months gap. What happened is that all HODs, DG, and the CEO went for a lifestyle audit. Their report came out in August. But on the HOD of health, the information that he submitted was insufficient. And then SIU requested that he submit new information. It's between that August and the Thursday that I'm talking about, that he submitted the information, they made the evaluation, and then they made the report that they did. In the report that they also gave me on Thursday, they are recommending for a deeper forensic investigation. And I authorized that deeper forensic investigation. And they also confirmed that they are ready to give me lifestyle audits of everyone that is running tenders in Gauteng government. Because I said anyone who's running a tender, organizing tenders in Gauteng, they must go for lifestyle audits. That almost 3,000 people. SIU has concluded that information on the 6th of November, they will start to give me reports on that aspect. So anything that I've requested, I've acted on it immediately. So there's no 15 months gap on the issue of the HOD. It's just that the information submitted was insufficient when others lifestyle audits were concluded and they requested additional information. It took time actually to also give additional information. When I was on the verge of suspending him for not providing the information, together with the MEC, they pleaded for extra time. I gave extra time. Within that extra time, they complied. And I got the report last week.
I still had some questions.
Feel free. No. I don't want to avoid this one.
Yes. Okay. When you said August, you mean August last year, right?
It's August when? The only August was last year. No, it's not this year.
Because, so it's August last year. That's okay. Just for that clarity. Just also on that, is it safe, considering that the health HOD is the only person that's been suspended, is it safe to assume that the other sort of CEOs, senior managers, and other HODs that also had lifestyle audits, is it safe to assume that they've also passed it? And my last question, it's around your MEC for finance, Mr. Lebogang Maile. There's a video that was published by News 24, where Lebogang Maile, I think, is attending Edwin Sodi's 50th birthday, and Vusmuzi Katsmahlala is there, Hangwani Maumela is there of the Tembisa Hospital. Have you spoken to him around that issue? Because I think obviously for the public, there are obviously certain things that can be, they can assume when we see the MEC for finance hanging around these people that are now obviously big notorious. These are obviously for Smithson Matlala and Hagwan Maumela for the Tembisa Hospital. Have you spoken to the AEC just to get anything from him in terms of why he was there, and does he have any connections with those characters? Thank you.
I worked on evidence. What would be the charge that I take into the police station if I have to charge him for being in the company? It will be very difficult. I know what the SIU is investigating because I authorized it. And I know the incidents that they are following up. And I don't want to prejudge them. Maybe even that incident is part of their final report on the reports that they will provide. So at this present moment, the issue of Tembisa Hospital, individuals involved, and you will remember that there is Syndicate X that the SIU didn't mention who is Syndicate X. And the SIU in confidence provided the relevant information to me that Syndicate X is cooperating with the law enforcement agencies. So I don't want to jump and prejudge and pull people in this investigation when I don't have the necessary evidence or the final report and the information. And I'm fully aware that the SIU is following literally everything. And they've assured me that they will be in a position to provide me with a relevant report on that aspect. If we have to go back to the issue of the HOD, and sometimes it surprises me. The reason why is the only one that is suspended because of all the HODs, there's no HOD that the SIU wanted to go to the next step of forensic investigation. It's the only one. All other HODs, they never arrived at. Those HODs that had their classification being high risk, I've removed them from departments of high risk to lower department while we are also investigating why the conflict of interest that have been identified. Those that we believe they've not declared other things, either they've requested to move out or when we are about to act, they move to other government departments and are following it up with those government departments. But if there is an impression that the HOD health has been targeted, it's a wrong impression. It's not targeted. I got a report, I acted on that report. But on top of that is the only HOD where the SIU requested a full, deeper investigation. And on the basis of their request, I felt that he needed to be suspended so that he can cooperate to provide the information. Because previously, he was not cooperating on the basis of he has a lot of work to do or could not provide the information that they have. As soon as they conclude that deeper forensic investigation, it will then dictate to me what kind of action or further action that I need to take or not to take. No, the budget, the fortunate part is that when we established the wardens, because the intention was to absorb them permanently and the intention was to pay them a salary after their training, the budget remains the way we budgeted for. So even if they absorb them in the new role, it will not meet additional budget because the cap of their salaries has been long determined with Treasury. But we will still need to obviously replenish their uniform. We still need to replenish the weapons that they need to carry now, the cars. I mean, the cars that they have, they are 3 years, and then they will reach the sell-by date of the cars. So there might be some additional resources in the future. But for now, in terms of their salaries and the work that we will do after training, it will not necessitate new additional budget.
There was also a question.
The work that we will do, the training that they may say.
Thank you very much. A traffic officer is trained in different fields of law, ranging from National Road Traffic Act to the law of evidence and criminal procedure. But other than that, there are courses like communication, ethics that they need to deal with in law enforcement. But what is more encouraging now is that by the time they finish training, they will also qualify as both examiners of motor vehicles and examiners of traffic driver's licenses. So you actually produce a new cohort of a traffic officer who is well vested in all those fields. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? Hands?
I think I've exhausted.
Sneko has one more, and we close with
And I hope it's not Kelly's hospital.
I did ask it earlier on, but in passing, and I just want to get clarity. Do you still believe that you still need a political task team in Gauteng?
The political task team?
Yes.
On crime?
Yes.
Definitely. No. This one, the good thing is that it's no longer a view of the Premier, it's the view of the political party that I represent in this province. There are councillors that have been killed in mysterious ways. And we fear that the next round of nomination of councillors will see a sudden rise in those killings. But there are also municipal managers and officials of government that have been killed. The latest incident is the one in Ekurhuleni. We can't leave it and say that we managed to track the people that we think they pulled the trigger. We know the minds. We want those that authorized this incident. But be it at Dikoran as well, we might have arrested the people that assassinated her, but you still don't know who authorized her killing. The latest is the driver of the mayor of Western local municipality, William Matafeni. His bodyguard was assassinated last week, attended the funeral over the weekend. So there's no way that we can't call for the establishment of a unit. I listened to the minister saying that he needs to establish an integrated and permanent unit within. In between the establishment and now, we really believe that we need that task team to assist us to deal with these issues, obviously within the confinement of the law. And that's the approach that we are taking.
Thank you very much, Premier. That's how we conclude the media briefing.
I want to wish all Gauteng teams, Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns well when they play this evening. And I deliver that this is Gauteng team. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Lunch outside.